Welcome back to the program. This course is Dollars and Cents, where we've been helping people make sense out of all of those different decisions involving their dollars all the way back since 1984. That's when our firm, Nelson Financial Planning, started all those many years ago. We continue the tradition today. If you missed the first half of the program, we did our normal year-end headline recap, which actually means that next week is our Fearless Forecast. Now, I have to be honest, normally I always like to do the Fearless Forecast before there is any trading day in the new year, because sometimes if the trading day is really good, that may set the tone for the year, all of those kinds of things. Well, as the calendar falls, folks, it's just kind of tricky to do that, right? You still have 3 more trading days in the year 2025, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, obviously, markets close, but then Friday, they open up and it'll be January the 2nd. So next week's Fearless Forecast will have a little asterisk in it as a result of sort of that one trading day that will have happened already in the year 2026. But if you're curious to see how we did on our Fearless Forecast for the year, stay tuned for next week's program. For those of you who listened to the program a year ago, you know that pretty close. Might have undercut it even a little bit more than expected for this year. But I guess better to under-promise, although that wasn't really a promise because it was just kind of a forecast thing and just sort of a guess. But better to under-promise than and over-deliver than the other way around, right? So anyway, so stay tuned for that for next week. We'll crank through the Fearless Forecast, but it will have the asterisk because we do have one trading day that will sneak in there on Friday, January the 2nd. Hard to believe that seems like these Fearless Forecast shows like every week, but it really is every year. As we reflect on 2025 and think about all of those headlines that happened, certainly AI was the dominant sort of theme, or one of the dominant themes to the year. Time Magazine, for example, named the architects of AI as their sort of person of the year. So we thought it would be interesting to just kind of, talk through, am I going to be here next year, or will AI totally replace me? I mean, that could be a totally different kind of conversation where it's like this hologram or whatever that is doing the radio program. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about that because that's clearly been a topic that has dominated all of the headlines over the course of the 2025 year and been a dominant theme and a dominant driver for the markets as well. So what's the future look like? Are we better off with robots or real people? Well, certainly there's a lot of issues on both sides of the equation. And so we thought we would kind of talk it through a little bit about, certainly AI, powerful, increases productivity, increases efficiency, but it does come with some serious risks that we think will limit its effectiveness to do this radio show and podcast in future years, meaning that we're not ready to get replaced just yet. Certainly AI can do a lot of tremendous things. If you've ever used it, played around with it, I mean, it can sort, summarize, and crunch enormous amounts of data within a very, very short period of time. From a financial perspective, certainly you see it getting used more in terms of sort of optimizing portfolios, which we think is a good use of the tool, whereby able to kind of look at what the overall investment allocation is a little bit more effectively in terms of a portfolio, and then correspondingly to be able to use that to help give insight as to whether a portfolio needs to be rebalanced along the way. Of course, as with anything, it's a computer program, it's an algorithm, and, there can certainly be some inherent biases in kind of how that algorithm gets created. If you think of it like this, like one of the things that we've talked about over the years is sort of these target date funds, right? And so these target date funds are all the rage throughout the retirement plan level, particularly the employer retirement plans. And, if you ever kind of looked and drilled down into them, what you see is all of the target date funds that are like out more than 20 years or 30 years from now. If you go out from that point and then forward, they all look basically exactly the same and deliver exactly the same performance. And when you think of it, they probably shouldn't, because, if they're supposed to be different, then they should be different. But a lot of what happens there is based on the parameters that are inputted into creating those target date funds. Well, think of AI in much the same capacity, because ultimately AI is going to be based on kind of what that data is, what the guardrails are, what the parameters are that have been put into that particular type of programming. And of course, with programming, there's not really any clear oversight for AI-driven advice, certainly no regulatory authority over it. That can certainly lead to a lot of errors that can occur from an investing perspective on a personal basis, not to mention a host of conflicts of interest as well. So definitely some downside, if you will, in terms of, AI ultimately kind of shifting and taking over some of these items, and then of course the privacy concerns, right? Can't forget about those. Obviously, and putting a lot of your personal information, if you're using that, for retirement advice. I mean, who knows? AI may just tell you to buy crypto and move to Mars, which I'm not sure that's going to be the best possible option. Artificial intelligence also, I think, we think about its role. It certainly falls short when it comes to human emotions, right? Because it's not actually a human. Like, AI probably can't really effectively calm you down and give perspective when the headlines in the markets may be in a fall. And it's those kinds of things where you need a fellow human to help provide that empathy, to help provide that perspective in order to navigate through those types of declines. And we think that that's a major shortcoming of AI, combined with the fact that, I don't know about you, but the older I get, the more I realize that a lot in life is not black and white. There's a whole lot of shades of gray. And I think, as a human being, we're able to kind of identify and relate to those shades of gray that I think impact on each one of our decisions on a daily basis as life moves forward. It has a tendency that it can get complex at any given point in time, whether that's through marriage, divorce, death, any of those kinds of things. A lot more that goes on that I don't think AI is prepared to deal with, along with that behavioral coaching that at the end of the day provides financial perspective. Because the reality is that most financial mistakes are emotionally based. They're not mathematically based. When we see how investors perform over time, a lot of that is kind of, a lot of those issues are kind of more emotional, not necessarily mathematical. So we're proud to report that we believe that we will still be doing this show in person, and it won't be AI. We think that the personalized advice that you get from a human being will always kind of trump the numbers, if you will, of algorithm. And then, of course, the reality is you can't call an algorithm when you're worried about things. You can call us. We have actually live people that will still answer the phones every day. So live humans, not computers, not bots, any of that kind of thing. AI won't go out and get a cup of coffee with you and talk about your grandkids, right? So am I going to get replaced by AI, even though it's been a dominant theme for 2025? I think the answer is no, not anytime soon. It's certainly a tool but I wouldn't necessarily consider it a trusted partner like we seek to do every day at Nelson Financial Planning, where we help people navigate through all of life's ups and downs beyond just the finances. So I thought we would just kind of talk about that, seeing how AI is certainly one of the major dominant themes for 2025. We're going to continue on the program after these messages. This is Joel Garris of Nelson Financial Planning.